Hello, 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 everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder of Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino. How is everyone doing today? Quicker session dealing with a number of things today, including more tech issues. Yay! How is everyone doing? Good morning, Davey. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Wavy. I got your shorts. Oh, you already got your shorts locked and loaded. Okay. Good morning, Josh. Hello, Options 22. Good morning, Jacob. Again, not much has happened with the overnight session. We will take a look. Remember, 15 minutes after the open, S&P Global Manufacturing PMI is coming in. We're going to see if that A drops in the contraction below 50, B if it does miss. Again, but then I don't know, because is bad good, is good bad. We're at that thing. We had, again, if you didn't tune in yesterday, we had Neil Kashikari talking about the Fed. I mean, the markets are getting ahead of themselves, and the Fed is sort of saying, "Hey, you're underpricing what we're going to do coming up, still to tackle inflation." ISM PMI coming out at 9. Going to pay specific attention to the ISM prices paid level. So that's going to be interesting. And then a quiet day after that. S&P mixed to slightly down, besides Tesla up this morning. Chinese delivery figures weren't that good from what I saw. Actually, this is creeping up. This is what the 50 basis point is creeping up. The 25 is creeping down slowly. So going to keep an eye on this over. I mean, we have quite some time until the September meeting, but going to keep an eye on this over time to see if the market starts pricing in more of that 50 basis point hike. And we are at neutral gamma this morning with earnings. Not much out there after the market. It's going to be interesting to sort of see Pinterest, Activision Blizzard I'll pay attention to, but not a lot. Transocean from an oil standpoint, but not a lot that's market moving. So that's where we stand. It's going to be more of a quiet day after 9 a.m. So, given a quiet day, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. Longer term viewers, please come back, leave some comments, and hitting the like. So, where do we sit? Where do we sit? All right, I'm watching for a topping pattern, at least a short-term topping pattern to come in, but nothing yet. There's no strong topping pattern just yet. If we start breaking above Friday's, I'm sorry, that's on notes. Here we go. No strong topping pattern yet. I'm like, why is that a green bar and we should be a red bar? This is just a very quiet. I'm not trading this as a double top right now. We're sitting at the key support 4104. If we break below that, it's 4,092. I'm not getting interested to the short side until we really get below that. And then you see here where this other black line is, bottom of the rotation zone, but you clear path here. There's a breakdown zone is 4021. However, you do have a minor stopping point. This is where you can use those minor, you go down a time frame to find those stopping points. So minor stopping point 4073 reinforced by the bottom of the 4-hour rotation zone. So that's my key pullback level. If we did get below there, I'd start getting into more bearish mode, but there's a fair amount of support levels in here. Still on a pullback. Again, cycles at the top, but we'll see if they start rolling over. And then remember, if you do get that bigger pullback, and I'm not necessarily talking today, you're back to the daily rotation zone and you have some breakout levels from before. So there's a lot to chew through before you can get overly bearish. You can just be minorly bearish. Now to the upside. If this level does hold, first key resistance 4128 to then you have about 4128, 4138. There's a lot of potential stops to the upside. This is where I'm still going to use the little forward harmonics if we do break to the upside today. About 4144, 4152 would be stop reduction, 4159 would be partial take profits up there in the terms of a potential follow-through bullish move before we get the rollover play. But we're into a potentially toppy area coming up. So that's what I'm watching for on the S&P. NASDAQ, pretty much the same thing. We were holding this support earlier, just broke below it, but next key level can't get overly bearish though here. I'm just going to bump that down until about 12,835. That was still from overnight where the 50 period 1 hour is. Then you are into, again, a 4-hour clear path. The breakout zone you can see right here. Very strong breakout zone right here, but can't get bearish again really into that. And then we don't have a big pausing area. We have a clear path move and a minor pausing area about 12,643, but major is 12,579. So we start getting closing momentum below 12,837 is when I will shift minorly bearish. Until there, this is very key support. Breakout level for me intraday, I'm not looking besides getting more bullish until above about 12,980. Then 12,980 would be a retest of this 13,000, 13,013, 13,012 from Friday's highs. And then we got 13,106. There's no need to put on the other harmonics. We still have the other major harmonics to the upside. And then what do we have above there? We have a major level at 13,210. Let's see, did I miss anybody with good morning, Lauren? If I missed you, I'm sorry. Good morning. Coco says to the moon. Fantastic. Tom thinks Tesla's going to 1,000. VIX gapping up currently. Yes, we'll get to the VIX. It was a gap up. Hey, Christoph. Pelosi's impact is Taiwan. We'll actually see if she goes through with it. Yes, it could. Well, it's going to be China's response to that. That's what's going to be the impact. And there could be impact if there's a stronger, if they exert stronger military response with that. So yes, it can be potentially market moving. I will not ignore that, but it's not her visit. It's the response to the visit. Okay? And so that can be potentially market moving, and I will not ignore that. It's not an ignore. Now, if markets come, if she visits, there is a response from China, some kind of stronger show of military force, and the market shrug it off. That is something to take into consideration. Means the markets are continuing to shrug off any potentially negative news. Good morning, Anissa. So one of the things that you watch, remember, we were going into end of July and the market even shrugging off that Walmart. You know, remember, Walmart, big gap down, and then the market shrugged it off and essentially rallied it back. If it continues to shrug off news, now remember, you can still get a little follow through at the beginning of August. That's why I'm still cautious, and even with price action, before we potentially get a rollover play. And as I said, in the stock sector analysis, I hope you watched it. Because a lot of stuff was trailing. I identified the sectors that were potential shorts if we do break down, but a lot of stuff there was not a lot of good solid new entries besides if you're already in stuff trail. Again, we are getting to overbought levels. You can see here with the NASDAQ, substantially higher high, lower high in RSI, waning momentum up against key resistance. So this next little pullback will help us gauge where the market sits with their shrug-off patterns. Good morning, Jake. Remember, you're not trying to call, again, there might be a minor topping pattern, but you're not trying to call a major topping pattern until we get substantial breakdowns and you get the odds in your favor. Good morning, Amit. Yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly right. This is why we analyze both sides of the market. When you get blinded by one side, whether it's bullish or bearish, you stop analyzing the markets and stop looking at things objectively. And that's why, again, from even a bearish, are we at major bearish point yet? Yes, long term, we don't have any bullish signals. Short term, we don't have any major bearish signals yet, and we don't have our odds in the favor of a continued breakdown plays to new lows. We are waning in bullish momentum. We are up against key resistance. So that's where, and to say, you can't have a pullback. Well, look, we had a nice 3-day pullback before the last breakout move into the end of the month. Markets trade. Markets trade back and forth. You have to be willing to analyze and know based off probabilities when things are tipping either way. So that's my point. Dow, essentially same thing. We're back up against this key since we've already hit that thing. Now Dow, we could still eke out some higher prices. That's what, yeah, you have this little mini double, but you're coming into this area. I can map that out real quick. So that pretty much takes you to the bottom of the 4-hour rotation zone. So even this mini double on the Dow, just in the second, it's virtually here. You can see it on the 1 hour a little better, and it is valid because the second and third targets are in the candle bodies on the 1 hour or close. At least the second one is, but that doesn't even take you back to the daily rotation zone. The next level on the Dow, you can use your shorter term harmonics, but the next level is this 33K. Russell on a rotation up, we've hit that 87.5, but the next key from the extension harmonic is 1896. And then the levels from yesterday still hold. The breakdown level, the major support is coming in at 1845. Remember, you still have a minor clear path back to about 1845, 1850 on a breakdown play. DAX still looking a little toppy. Cycles getting to the top. Remember, we've already hit the first and second targets. We're up near the third target area. This is where I'd be more aggressively raising a stop. If it did break down below the low on the DAX, and that's not just for today, your key support now is at 13,350. Notes, again, edging higher. We have the long-term head and shoulders. We're at a topping pattern on the daily and the weekly. So going to gauge when we do get the pullback move, it's in bullish mode. Again, as I said yesterday, would not be surprised to see a pullback. My major support is 120.11. Other than that, even on a pullback there, it's still a major bullish mode. And then the next pullback is 119.22 area. Other than that, it's just trailing higher and watching for a short-term topping pattern. There is nothing there yet. Your warning sign is if it starts breaking down below this 120.22, but that's a short-term pullback. Crude, back below the 200 on the daily. Need to see where this closes. And remember, I'm not touching this massive double top unless we close below it on the weekly, but we're still caught in a range. It will be interesting to see if it can finally close below the 200 on the daily, but there's still nothing for me to do on crude. Natty gas pulling back, watching the 760 to 755. We'll see where today closes because there could be another aggressive buy, which the last one's not going to trigger from yesterday because we're not going to close unless something really happens above yesterday's high. But watching to see if we set up another %B buy with cycles on the daily getting to the bottom. So sit on hands. Still sitting on hands, watching for the pullback move. Again, it's still a core long position in this, but sitting on hands for a short term, another position, chipping away at the 50 exponential now and this prior major breakdown zone. Going to watch it when we do get that little pullback, how strong or weak it is, because that will help gauge the next push higher in gold. Remember, I said I was watching for a substantial bottoming, medium to long term in there. Dollar index pulling back, finally back to that 50-period exponential, and finally back into the weekly rotation zone. So we've burned off that massive overbought condition, and the cycles are getting closer to the bottom on the weekly and closer to the bottom, but not yet turning up on the daily. So I am getting more interested again in the dollar index, but nothing yet. VIX, as was mentioned before, by thank you all the wonderful people putting in commentary. This actually has to be updated to here because that's a stronger pausing area. But a gap up without much of a reaction. So I'm going to really be watching to see if it can get some momentum above this key close from back on the 18th of, there's the weekly. Let me get to the key area. It's really right above this area, this 23 area. We start getting momentum above there. I start favoring more of that pullback. Right here, if we roll over and get below today's low so far, 22.26, it's still in this potentially short-term rally mode. Yen really starting to collapse. Very sloppy head and shoulders that was triggered and just pulling back. What am I watching here? The yen actually getting some weakness. I'm keying off of this major support area to see in here, finally getting out of here. What I'm watching for longer term, this is interesting. Yen could be setting up a massive head and shoulders top. So we will keep an eye on that. Euro still sitting here. Watching now, this was earlier before it was getting the little resistance here, but with this move up, going to watch for the potential breakout play into this clear path move, because as I said yesterday, we could making a run to this 103.70, 103.80 level. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on. Bitcoin pulling back now, has not been able to get any traction above this, but can't get overly bearish until we really break down. Again, I'm watching for a longer term topping pattern, but with the correlation with the NASDAQ, nothing to do until we really break down below that channel, besides some short term topping areas. Oh, I know we want the Qs. We'll get to Tesla too. The Qs back here, your major support on a pullback is 308. Again, you got a little, you're gapping down with the futures, but even here, you still have a little gap behind here, but can't get short-term really bearish until, like short-term bearish. And I'm not talking long-term, I'm talking short-term below 311.38. Can't get overly bullish in this, but can't get overly bearish either. Your next key area to the upside is about 317.29. Should it hold? And watch, I mean, right now, 357 with the gap down, but your short-term support is about 314.25 with the rising 1 hour rotation zone. So that's really key to see if that holds and you get another push higher. If we don't get that breakdown play, that would be the key area I'd be watching on the Qs. The spiders. The key area I'm watching right now is on a pullback. We're down slightly, so this is temporary resistance about 410.60, but we bounce back above that. I will watch for that retest the high area about 412.60, and then on a push higher 414.50. The more significant pullback level, we have the prior harmonic, which I'm pulling off, but that just reiterates this gap open price of about 407.50, and then it would be to the gap play to 406. From there, Tesla. Again, Tesla with the markets. As the markets get weak and roll over, I'll easily watch for that gap fill play. And then the first level support is 864. And then major support coming in 837. Key resistance coming in at 909 roughly. And if we did break above that, my next target is 940 to about 953. Remember, we're in the rollover zone with Tesla. We could be setting up for a divergence also, and it is close to overbought on the weekly, and it cycle tops. So especially once we start getting some weakness when we do in the NASDAQ, I'm watching for a rollover play in there. Otherwise, it's just short-term momentum to the upside. Yeah, if we get in a conflict with China, it could get very interesting. Let's see. You're just responding to this stuff. Yeah, it's actually an ignorant comment when all you say is stocks only go up every day, because stocks only don't go up every day, and not all stocks go up every day, and not all stocks go up. As I said before, stocks generally go up long term from good valuations. But you know what? You can cite lots of stocks that have not gone up recently every day. Look at Roku. I mean, it's just an ignorant statement to just come back and regurgitate that day in, day out. Now, the broad market goes up long term. That's why I said, look, my overall, look, I called out my trade last week, long term. Stop at zero for the spiders. Long term, spiders over 1,000. There you go. That could take 10 years. But see, that's an ignorant statement. You got to trade what is. And right now, once we get long, I'm going to reiterate this once more. I will let everybody know because I can't release some of the proprietary stuff because it's not mine to release. But if we get a long-term massive buy signal, I will be the first to be shouting from the rooftop, hey, we're in long-term buy mode. Other than that, it's just ignorant statements at this point. Good morning, Ramsafal. Tesla, I feel and see it is in final melt-up phase at the top. And again, I am long-term bearish on Tesla, not only fundamentally, but from technical patterns. But does that not mean Tesla can't be played, especially with the gamma squeeze to the upside? You have to be very picky with establishing short positions. You have to be very wary, but Tesla does not also go up every day blindly. You're welcome, Josh. Thank you. It is contrary to reality. No, they don't. Really? Then what have they spent the last few months doing? They don't only go up. I'm tired of even responding to this. Then you're telling me that what did the NASDAQ do from December of last year even to now? Yes, it's gone up a little bit recently. What do you call this? That's down. And a lot of people have been crushed buying every dip, especially in individual stocks. And this can roll over again. So, yes, we are in a short-term rally. I said when we got above the 67.5, we favored the higher prices. We hit breakout areas, we retested it. There's been short-term plays to the upside. Does that mean we go to new all-time highs? No. If we get a signal for that, then we trade it. You got to trade what is, not what you think, and not what you want to happen. With that, I'm going to call it a day. We got 4 minutes to the open, and I got to deal with a couple things right before the open. I will probably not much. There's not needing for me to come on at lunch, so I will see everyone after the close. Trade safe. Trade your setups. And if you don't have anything, you don't have anything. If you do, you trade it. You are welcome. And just watch your stuff and do things, learn to analyze both sides of the market. I want to keep stressing that. That will help you gauge things so you don't get blinders. And I don't want people to have blinders, bullish or bearish. I'm stressing both sides. You can't have blinders. You're welcome, Jacob. You're welcome, Amit. We know what you are, Tom. You're all in calls. Fantastic. And we can't even vet if you're really doing that or just putting that out there. So that's why it's also ignorant. Talk to everyone later. Bye for now.